did you go back and thank those two students?
I should have, but
Wow, they got you started. That's great, because a lot of times people are just angry and they just pen it up inside. They don't do something about it, and it's actually hurting people around them. But you've done amazing things. You've really done amazing things. I mean, considering that you're young, what I was amazed is that you're young and you're actually putting all this, everybody's just talking about it, what people should be doing, but then nobody's really doing it. But you're someone who's doing something, and at a young age. And I feel like you must have a very good upbringing to have this kind of mentality and making things happen.
No, I first of all, of course, thanking parents and my brothers who are almost the same age as me, who we are competing continuously, we're fighting continuously. This is great. This is where, this closeness also spark competitions. I think this is, in general, this is how people improve, try to think outside the box. But I think there's something that's also very interesting, in this whole, I guess, the startup stories, is that there are a lot of very smart people out there. Mm-hmm. It's not just me who's thinking about the same issues. And there are a lot of powerful people who are thinking about the same issues. And me, I think I just got lucky in the way that I'm trying to do something. And then there are very powerful uncles and families who are willing to support and willing to actually buy into the idea. And then, of course, this takes a lot of, exercise to prove that this idea might work. Okay, and so I think for a lot of younger generations, I'm like close to 35 too, so, for the generation below me, I would say is a lot of people are more interested in saying, why don't you listen to me? Mm-hmm. I think what they didn't understand is before someone has to listen to you, you have to prove that you're worth it.
Yeah.
And at least you have to prove that you have somewhat of a value that deserves people's time. I think this is, when I was in the 20s, I think this is one of a thing I always feel embarrassed to ask people for things because I feel like I have no value.
Oh, really?
Okay.
But you're so different now.
No.
Considering, I'm sure, I got a feeling you must have had a lot of sleepless nights where I feel like your brain is probably a mind that just doesn't stop ever, even when doing sleep. Because, first of all, you already proved yourself with this EcoArc, collecting 1.5 million PET bottles made from recycled waste. How did you do that? And what was it that triggered this thought?
No, it's actually, lots of things are really dumb. This idea of recycling turning into a building has been around since 1950s. Oh. Okay, I wasn't. No, it has nothing to do with architecture.
You're right. I know.
A lot of people has thought about it. I really cannot corner this idea saying that this is ours. This is really not. I also cannot corner as saying that this is our technology. It's not. Okay, it is actually a combination of many people's technology. Okay. So what we did actually is combining all the different, from the manufacturing side, from the material side, all the way to the architecture side, all the way to the construction side. So we're the interface between all these different parties. So what we did is, yes, right now I'm spokesperson for this project. I'm a spokesperson for this type of technology, but in reality, it's a combination of these different technology. And people who has to have this capability for years of experience. I'm leveraging on their experience. I'm leveraging on Far Eastern Group's resources. I'm leveraging on a very powerful chairman's good faith, right? I'm leveraging on a guy who is in the factory for 50 years or 40 years who never got a chance to do something completely interesting. And all this knowledge actually intersects together with this project. And that is the point of this project, because when we receive EcoArc, which is sponsored by one of the most famous group called Far Eastern Group in Taiwan, They're one of the biggest PET producers too. In order for us to do that, one of our mission is not just sustainability. It has to be sustainable. That's no question asked. But the second, one of the biggest mission we have is to innovate. I just want to state that innovations and inventions is very different.
Okay.
We really did not invent honeycomb. Honey.
Yeah.
The beads has the honeycomb. No, we did not invent the honeycomb structure. We did not invent the material needs to be folded in order to be strong. Everybody does that structurally. We did not invent the joint system because Chinese architecture has that joint system since 1,000 years old.
Okay.
So a lot of this is a combination of. So innovation is about leveraging some of a base knowledge. We are just putting it together in a different way to turn out into to actually repackage into a different product that people want, a different building that people find interesting, a building that costs less, the building that has less environmental footprint, and at the same time, the building that people see value as a main pavilion at the expo. So it has to be bright, it has to be attractive, it has to be this lantern piece that kind of attract people from all over it has to be cool naturally to show people the spectacle of a big waterfall, for example. It's a little bit of marketing, actually. Yeah.
Well, you know what? One thing I couldn't understand is that I know you went around, well, your team of people, or actually a lot of people, went out collecting all these recyclable plastic bottles. But then you melt them down and then reform them into so that they all look the same. They were hexagonal plastic bottles.
Yes.
It always amazes me how that works because they're translucent, those bottles. But obviously they were all coming from different, recycled stuff. And how does that work? It amazes me.
No, it's just, in reality, it's actually a hexagonal shape that interlocks and twisted we twisted 30 degrees.
But what I was asking is how were they able to, from all the different recycled stuff, and then transformed into the same color?
Oh, okay.
And they all look the same.
This is manufacturing technology. You're talking about two technology here, recycling technology and remanufacturing technology. Okay, and this combines Taiwan two of the biggest strength, I think. When I came back to Taiwan, when I was growing up in Taiwan, I never feel Taiwan is such a big petrol-based economy. We are.
Really?
And when we're in the U.S., it's like, Taiwan, the plastic capital of the world. Okay,
yeah.
we
Taiwan
are.
Plastic, yeah.
Taiwan Plastic, Far Eastern group, which is all making polyesters, all the plastic things that you see globally are actually made here from crude oil.
Okay.
As this industry progresses, it turns into this recycling industry. And because Taiwan has so little natural resources, it actually becomes the only way for us to improve the costs. When all the clients in the U.S., when they want to reduce the cost, you have to add in more recycled materials. Okay, so right away the recycling industry become a boom because we have no natural resources. We have to reduce amount of virgin material we take in, so we start recycling. We are one of the biggest recyclers in the world.
All right.
Okay, and our recycling rate is one of the highest also in the world.
Wow.
So all the technology is here. The second is, the iPhone, the iPods, all the computers, laptops, all that is made here. Invented here, kind of.
Right.
So our manufacturing technology are so sophisticated and the leader in the world that, wow. And all of a sudden when you came back and you're talking to different vendors, different factories, different 师傅, different engineers at different factory plants, you're like, wow, they know way more than all the theoretical thoughts in the United States. Because these guys actually implemented thousands, millions of products for years.
Right.
So that's why when you're talking about polybrick, how did it get to that shape, that size? How did it get to be so uniform and precise? So all that had to thank the Taiwan industries.
All right.
Okay, the chemical side and also all the remanufacturing side.
Wow. Well, I learned that there are a lot of things we need to be proud of being part of Taiwan. But let's take a break here before we go on to talk more about what MINIWIZ also do.